What's up, Bruins fans? Johnny Gammon here, and I'm joined by Cam McKennedy, one of the basketball players of our Bruins basketball team. And I'll go ahead and break the news to everybody. He is coming back this next year, and we're excited to have Cam back on the court for us for the 2020-21 season. Cam, thanks for the time today. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. No problem at all. No problem at all.
Let's talk about last basketball season. And then for those of you that don't know, we'll get into this in just a second, but Cam was up close and personal with this COVID crisis that we're going through, actually having contracted it himself. And so, but let's go back to last season a little bit if we could, Cam. I know you were one of the seniors on the team this year, one of the leaders. And really, especially second semester, we seem to be kind of hitting our stride as a team. And we really closed out the regular season strong. What do you think was key in that success in us being able to play that we did down the stretch?
Well, obviously, the first semester took some time to adjust. We had a lot of new guys, as everyone knows, a lot of freshmen that actually played a lot throughout the stretch and throughout close games. But that second semester was key. We went on a few-game win streak, and we had a good run for it because I feel like we connected as more of a family after that first semester. We were able to connect with each other, understand what were each other's weaknesses and strengths, and just being around each other, even outside the court, helped us to perform as good as we did that second semester on the court as well.
You know, one question I wanted to ask is, you being an upperclassman and a leader on the team, how do you go about bringing along guys who you said we had a very young team last year, a lot of guys who were kind of coming in as freshmen and their first college experience. And a lot of these guys, I mean, let's face it, they're used to being kind of the big time guy on their team in high school. And, you know, some of them didn't really have to work that hard to be as successful as they were at the high school level. So what do you and other leaders have to do to come alongside these guys and say, look, listen, college basketball is much different?
Yeah. Okay. So in the beginning, a lot of the freshmen and the upperclassmen, it's just like it was like an automatic bond, kind of like we all got together, and they were actually a good group of guys that like to listen to the upperclassmen, because sometimes you get the guys that they're not ready to listen. I mean, they're just coming in, they're younger, so they don't understand that it's different from high school. But what helped to connect with them was just to tell them like it's a different game in college. You have to come and you actually have to prepare. You have to condition. The preseason is like the most important thing in the season, because if you're not in shape or if you're not in the right condition, you're not going to be able to perform to the best of your ability. And just being there for them and being able to be an example and a role model for them, it was a good thing for me. And it even taught me a little bit to help myself know that I have to be better, because I knew that they looked up to me and things like that. But one more important thing was I had to let them know that they have to play their game. A lot of them, they were a little nervous when they first got in the games and practices, just because, I mean, it's a new place and a new environment, so they weren't comfortable. But me knowing that I came there just a year and a half ago, I told them that it's a very good program to adjust to. The coaches will help you, and we have a good group of teammates that are like family. So just having that family atmosphere and being able to talk to them and having them listen as well was a good key part in bringing the freshmen in to perform like they did this year.
And we closed out the season not the way that we wanted to. I know we got into the region championship and fell short against Johnson, but even we've had Coach Yu on here before just talking about how wide open the South was last year. I mean, really all the teams were very competitive against one another, but looking specifically at that region championship, what do you think was key in us not being able to capture that region title?
I would just say down the stretch, we did have, like we did during the season, we had a good bit of turnovers. That was one of our key weaknesses that we need to work on throughout the whole season, as we know, was just the turnovers. And the games when we had the least amount of turnovers were our best performing games. And down that stretch, we had, like, I'm pretty sure 4 or 5 turnovers that costed us a game, because we were up for a little bit as well during that time. But I think this year it'll help when we focus on those turnovers and just trying to take care of the ball. And if we would have took care of the ball, I feel like it could have been a different outcome. But things happen for a reason, and we're ready to go back at it this year. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, I mean, then just a couple of weeks afterwards, we hear about the COVID outbreak and tournaments shutting down, sports shutting down. So before we get into your experiences this summer, just typically the basketball season is going to end mid to late March. You guys are going to have some weeks to wrap up. Kind of, especially you as one of the leaders and the seniors on the team, you have that time where you kind of say goodbye to the game, and goodbye to your teammates, goodbye to your coaches. All of a sudden, that is all just yanked away. Take me through some of those emotions when, not only is the season over in the heartbreaking fashion that it was for our team, but then all of a sudden now we're not even on campus anymore. We're all going home.
Okay, well, yeah, that was very heartbreaking actually, because at the time I thought it was my last season with the guys, as I was planning on not playing this year. But it was just a crazy experience because nobody's thinking we're going to leave school early. We're all thinking we're going to have that time together, those last few months, to bond even more, even though we're not playing in the season. But the thing that really caught us off guard was the fact that we weren't going to be able to have a banquet. And the banquet is a good part at the end of the season. Just even though we didn't meet exactly the higher expectations that we wanted, we're able to see what players have done. We're able to recognize what the team has come together to do, and just eat and have a good time and enjoy everybody's presence again for one last time. And it all got cut short because of COVID. It was just very upsetting because, like I said, I didn't think that I would be able to come back and play, and I wanted those last few months to bond with the team and just to enjoy the time at the banquet and see people get rewards and just have a good time with each other. So, and we even had last minute pickup sessions with the team and stuff, which we enjoyed. I remember the last pickup session we had at the academy. It was just kind of sad because we knew it was the last time we were playing. It was the last day before everybody was moving out. It was just very emotional. But I mean, just like I said, everything happens for a reason. Even with the tournament thing, I feel like we would have been heartbroken to make it down there and then not even get to play. So yeah, it all happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about that off season. It's different for basketball because other sports, particularly sports that are outdoors, aren't as limited in practicing and working out and those kinds of things. Basketball really across the country has been pretty much shut down in terms of being able to work out facilities and those kinds of places. So what are you guys trying to do to stay connected, first of all, in training and preparing for the upcoming season, but also staying connected to each other as a team?
Well, we all stay in contact. We have the group chat. We see how everybody's doing and checking up. Just like when I actually got sick, everybody knew right then what happened, prayed for me, and we just try to stay close and just in contact. I've been playing some video games with the freshmen from last year. It's just trying to stay in contact and just keep that close bond, even if we're not able to technically be together and play basketball. I think one of the most important things in basketball and a good team is just having that good relationship with each other. So that's what we're really working on, and making sure that we're all still trying to, if you have to go outside and shoot around, or if you have to go outside and do conditions, that's what I've been doing, running outside and just trying to stay in shape, doing home workouts. There's plenty of ways to stay in shape. It's difficult because basketball, you have to run up and down the court forever, but there's always ways at home to, even though you're limited, to stay in shape and stay in a good condition.
All right, let's talk about the summer. I still remember getting a text from Coach U in the middle of the summer. He said, just, hey, pray for Kim. He's got it. And we all knew exactly what he was talking about. So let's talk about just the initial reaction. You start to not feel well, and then you go get that test. What's going through your mind when you see that it's positive and you've got COVID?
So when I first started feeling sick, I just had a fever. It was out of nowhere, and I was starting to feel the chills a little bit. And I was like, hopefully it's just nothing. Maybe it's just something overnight. And even though I know what's going around, I was just still in my head hoping that it's not COVID. And I remember the second day, I just started feeling really terrible. So actually, it was just a long process, and just knowing that I had to stay away from a lot of family and things like that. And I'm not gonna say the sickness part was the worst part, because for example, I feel like the flu is worse than how it feels and stuff like that. But it's just the fact that I had to quarantine and be by myself for the whole 2 weeks. Couldn't really come in contact with anybody, and just the mental aspect is what was really hard for me, just because I had to stay in my room for those amount of days. And I didn't want to go outside my room because I didn't want to give it to my family or anybody else outside of it, but it really was different because I'm one of those type of people. Like I feel like it's not gonna happen to me sometimes, and that's what happened. Even though I was careful when I went out and things like that, I mean, it still just it just happened to have came in contact with me. But um, it was a pretty tough process just because I woke up and I knew I wasn't gonna be feeling well. It just wasn't the best, and one of the toughest parts, the recovery part. Like now, after it, I still had the symptoms, short of breath, so like, I would get fatigued fast. And I'm used to being in shape and working out, and like me just walking up and down the street, like barely walking, I felt like I had ran a marathon.
Mm.
Like it was that hard, and just me being an athlete and knowing how much of in shape I usually am, and I was working hard before that. It's like I went all the way back downhill. But as I can say, it's been over a month. Yeah, it's been little bit over a month maybe since I got it and tested positive for it and everything. And now I'm feeling 95, 100% back to normal. Been in shape, been working out. It's been hard. Didn't want to push myself too much because like the pain and the like shortness of breath is not the most exciting thing to have because it's kind of scary.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's just how my process has been. Everything has been good since. I might have a little bit of fatigueness here and there, but I actually like played in some games and stuff since they opened a few more gyms. Just trying to be more careful though, just because I contracted it. But I'm back in shape, feeling good, and also one of the key things is once I contracted it, I didn't know for like a whole week that I had it. Like I got tested, but I stayed in the house when I got tested, and the results didn't come back in until a whole week after. So before that, I didn't even know if I had it for sure, but I still was quarantined. And yeah, it was just a tough experience, a different experience, because going to the doctor, they don't know exactly what to do or anything. They don't have any medicines for it. So it was just, I guess the thing I worried about the most was just the fact that they didn't have much information about it.
Mm.
And so me just having to stay at home and take regular pain meds, Tylenol, ibuprofen, it's just me praying, and it actually helped me even grow closer in my relationship with God, just to talk to him and be able to trust in him that I would get through the process, in which I have. So um, I'm glad, I'm not glad that I got it, but I'm able to share like how it went with me so I can share with others and show them that it's, if you get not to worry too much or anything like that. I mean, I'm a live prime example. Like I'm back to normal. I'm feeling good. It's just a process that you'll have to go through. So.
Yeah. We're looking forward to the basketball season coming up. I know you can't wait to get back on campus with the guys and start doing the limited things that you can do this fall. But as you look ahead kind of to this season, I know there's still a lot of uncertainty out there. Are we going to have an abbreviated season? Is it going to be a shortened season? But as you look ahead to this year's team and this the potential that we have this year, what gets you excited about the basketball team this year?
It gets me really excited because we had a few, not including myself, 5 other seniors that left last year. But we also have the younger guys that played an important role last year along with us. And so I don't feel, I mean, we lost some players, but I feel like we're not losing too bad because we have those freshmen and they got a lot of experience last year. And they're going to be ready for this year, just like they were last year. So I'm really excited to see the new freshmen come in. We have a few good guards, and we even have a couple bigs coming in. And I'm ready to get closer to those guys. And I know the sophomores, the upcoming sophomores that were freshmen last year, we'll bring them in, and hopefully we can bring that family atmosphere and environment to them like we did the freshmen last year. So I'm really excited to meet those guys and stuff.
It's going to be awesome. Can't wait for Bruins basketball get going again. Cam McKennedy, bud, we thank you so much for the time today. We appreciate it.
Of course, no problem. Good to have you.